Back at it again, and we have one from one of my favorite politicians, and that is Byron Donalds. Byron Donalds, as well as Larry Elder, Vivek. Those are three folks that I wouldn't mind seeing lead the party in 2028 after Trump is done. Probably in that order: Byron, Larry Elder, then Vivek. And I say that because I still got a few questions about Vivek, but for the most part, I believe him. For the most part, I trust him. So those are my three top. You guys can let me know in the comment section who would be your choices to lead the party in 2028. But let's hop into this video of Byron Donalds absolutely owning absolutely owning this reporter. Let's dive in.
Especially with what John and Julia Chatterley were just talking about. The CPI just out this morning. This is the first time that overall inflation measured on year-over-year basis has come in below 3% since March of 2021. A trend that you could say could be good for the Harris campaign, maybe fueling the Fed to begin to cut interest rates in the fall. What's your reaction to it?
My reaction to it is that Kamala Harris's administration with Joe Biden crippled families across our entire country. There was a video of a black woman being interviewed, I think by MSNBC, talking about how prices have gone up massively. A bell pepper that was $2 is now $5, and she was able to get through it. But what about a single mom with 2 kids, 3 kids doing everything to make ends meet? Well, the reason why those prices have been massively expensive is because Kamala Harris was the tie-breaking vote on Joe Biden's American Rescue Plan in 2021. She was the tie-breaking vote on the Inflation Reduction Act. All that did was create massive government spending, which created massive inflation on the backs of the American people. Overall, prices are up well over 20%, especially when you start getting into food and other areas like that. So Kamala Harris's record has been one of leaving working families behind. When Donald Trump was president, we didn't have a massive inflation. Our economy was growing massively at the same time. Working families were getting ahead. Middle-income families getting ahead. Everybody was thriving. I think so. The key issue is what was just brought up about which candidate is the candidate of political and economic change. It's without question that candidate's Donald J. Trump, because Kamala Harris was sitting there shotgun with Joe Biden, creating one of the worst economic situations for working families in the last 40 years in the United States of America.
The idea of change, though, is all about perception, right? I mean, it could be change from now or change from Trump or change from, left to right and where I was just yesterday. So change is a perception that is in the eye of the voter. And what Harry Enton was getting at on the issue of age is that in the analysis you can see that it's flipped for Donald Trump, that now more voters are seeing him as too old to be president compared to what voters thought back in May. This was a Democratic problem. Is this now a Republican problem?
No.
Well, first of all, with the polling that you're talking about, I'm not totally surprised, because if you look at Kamala Harris over the last 24 days, what have we seen? She won't answer questions. She won't talk to your network or any other network. She has no specific policy. No, but this does matter. It does matter, and let me explain.
Hold on. Before he continues, notice how she tries to cut him off when he tries to connect things to Kamala. But whenever Democrats do it, right, whenever Democrat politicians, when the question has nothing to do with Donald Trump, but they try to connect it to Donald Trump, they sit there quiet. They don't say a single thing. They just let the person speak, even though it has nothing to do with the question. But they just allow it. Also, the whole misinformation thing, right? Misinformation and disinformation. Tim Walz actually came out and spoke about wanting to ban disinformation and misinformation. Well, then he should ban the speech of his own vice president that picked him. Not vice president. Well, she's currently the vice president, and that will be her only job. She will never be the president, in my humble opinion. But he should ban her speech when she says, Donald Trump's abortion laws. What abortion laws has Donald Trump passed or signed? You see what I'm saying? So I love what Byron Donalds is doing. He's playing the same game that they are playing. I love it. Absolutely love it.
If she won't answer questions, hard-hitting questions about her record and what she's going to do, not the fluff about joy and moving forward and freedom. We're talking about the real political and policy issues that are going to affect the American people. She's nowhere to be seen. She will not answer questions. She has not talked to the American people. On her own website, there are no policies.
But when you think,
so
you
it's
think when
easy
she
to run
answers
as if you're a
questions,
Hollywood starlet, but we're running for president.
But you think when she sits for interviews, lays out policy, you think that's going to lead with more people thinking she is too old to be president? I'm trying to follow the line here.
No, it's not about her age. It's about her ability and her competency to lead our country going forward. What's going to be her economic agenda? Is that going to be different from Joe Biden? I don't think so, because Susan Rice is on the record now saying that Kamala Harris was integral in the Joe Biden-Kamala Harris agenda. I just laid out for you that she voted and she broke the ties in the Senate to push Joe Biden's economic agenda. So she has to...
Several different times, she was the tie-breaking vote. Kamala Harris was the tie-breaking vote several different times. So when people say, oh no, this is Joe Biden's, first off, Joe Biden ain't running a single thing. Let me tell you that now. Okay, we all saw Joe Biden. It's the reason why they pushed him out. It's the reason why they wanted the debate that early. Why would the Democrat Party, the Democrat elites, push Joe Biden out 6 months before an election to debate when debates have never been that early? Never. It's because they knew. They all knew that the charades would eventually fall apart. Their house of cards would eventually fall apart. So let's try to fix this now. We've been lying to these people, so we can't just all of a sudden come out and say, well, we've been lying, guys. He's actually not there. The light's on, but nobody's home. So, Joe Biden, why don't you just go out there and debate Trump now? How about that? Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Put him out there in front of the American public. Let everybody see. Oh, yeah, he's not actually there. Which Kamala knew about as well and lied about it. Okay. So Joe ain't running the show, obviously. But then also, completely lost my train of thought. Oh, also, she was the tie-breaking vote. So if you're saying that this isn't her administration, how is it not? Joe ain't running the show, but then also she was the tie-breaking vote on some key legislation that has absolutely crippled this country. Yeah, exactly, and I'll rest my case.
Answer for that. What is she going to say? Oh, I just want to move forward? And let's go back to another one. When she ran for president in 2020, when she was in the United States Senate, she supported the massive Green New Deal. She supported Medicare for All, a co-sponsor. She ran on that in 2020. Now she's trying to throw out staffers to run away from that. So what I am saying is not about age, about being a candidate for political and economic change to help our country thrive. Whether you're black or white, rich or poor, middle income, it doesn't matter. That person's Donald J. Trump. It is not Kamala Harris. And that is
my point was, I was asking about age, which is why I was, and you've brought up her not answering questions. You've also called her not competent. And on that, Nikki Haley has some advice her advice was for Donald Trump, but I guess it would apply to all Republicans, including yourself, her speaking on Fox and how you guys talk about Kamala Harris. Let me play this from Nikki Haley.
Quit whining about her. The campaign is not going to win talking about crowd sizes. It's not going to win talking about what race Kamala Harris is. It's not going to win talking about whether she's dumb. It's not. You can't win on those things. The American people are smart. Treat them like they're smart.
And she also said it's not going to win talking about how she's not answering questions. Do you agree?
Well, look, like I said in this entire interview, I've not talked about Kamala Harris's crowd sizes or anything like that. I am talking about her competency.
Congressman, you said her competency, and you said that she's not doing interviews, and those are two of the things that Nikki Haley said. 1 second.
As if Nikki Haley runs the party.
Those are two of the things that Nikki Haley said you guys should not be talking about because it's not going to win you voters. What do you say to Nikki Haley?
Well, first of all, what I'm talking about is about her competency to lead our country. And competency is based upon decision making and policies that you support. That's what it's always based upon. And if you look at her record in the U.S. Senate, if you look at the fact that she was there as a partner with Joe Biden, leading to one of the great economic collapses for working families in our country, because when you have massive inflation, when wages are down, adjusted for inflation, when people are having to make decisions between the light bill and food or housing and other things, that's a catastrophe for working families. It's devastating to middle-income Americans. Kamala Harris, that is her record. And so all I'm saying is that, yes, she has to answer for her record if she's going to choose to answer any questions at all. Right now, she's choosing not to answer questions. It is being done on purpose, because when you examine her record, it demonstrates that her record would lead us to truly believe that she doesn't have the competency to lead the United States of America going forward. We know that Donald Trump has the competency to do so because he's already done it.
I take that as you disagree with Nikki Haley on her take on strategy here. I want to play for you what Donald Trump said in his...
Man, you gotta love Byron Donalds, man. Gotta love it. Got to love it. And that's one of the reasons why I said Byron Donalds is my next in line, personally. Him or Larry Elder, right? Those are my two next in line guys. I would prefer Byron. I feel like he's in the spotlight more. He's got his name out there a bit more than Larry Elder. Name recognition, I think, does matter to a certain degree with this kind of stuff. But I wouldn't mind Larry Elder either. Larry Elder was one of the guys that kind of really helped me along this journey on discovering the truth, right? Some of you guys that have been along this ride for quite a while can remember all of the Larry Elder videos that I was checking out a while back. So I definitely wouldn't mind a Larry Elder either. So, yeah. But like I said, one of the big reasons why I like Byron is because he takes no crap. He takes no shit whatsoever. Doesn't matter who it's coming from, what your race is, whether you're man or woman. Don't matter. Tall, short, fat, skinny. Hey, anybody can get the smoke. And I love it. He dishes it out with precision. And also he like I said, he doesn't back down. But then also, like, he uses some of the same tactics that Democrats be trying to use in these interviews, where they just, like, one, don't answer questions. Like, she was trying to talk about Nikki Haley, and he was like, no, I'm not. He didn't say no, but in his answer, he basically said, no, I'm not talking about Nikki Haley. Did y'all catch that? Like, she kept trying to bring it back to, well, Nikki Haley, how do you feel about Nikki Haley? And he's like, Kamala Harris is terrible, this is her record. If you look back at her Senate record, I absolutely love that. He stayed on topic, on the subjects that actually matter, not Nikki Haley, right? Like, come on, man. Kudos to Byron Donalds, man. Absolutely, salute. But y'all let me know your thoughts, your opinions. Stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.